So you just got done watching the fights. The kids are asleep. The wife's in the other room doing, well, what wives do.
Am I the only one that does a goddamn thing around here? How hard is it to pick up after yourself?
So decision time. You could either go in the other room and deal with...
After all I've done today, you expect me to wanna...
Or keep it locked right here, because it's time for the Billy C post-fight wrap-up on the BillyCBoxing.com network. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C. Deontay Wilder, Gerald Washington post-fight show. The fight just ended, in case you're just tuning in and didn't know what happened. Deontay Wilder came from behind, in my opinion, to knock out Gerald Washington in the fifth round. My quick thought is Deontay Wilder looked extremely ordinary. He looked like he does not like to get hit, and not that anybody does, but he had no answer. I think if Gerald Washington kept his jab going, I think he would have dictated the fight. There's no doubt that Deontay Wilder has punching power, and in my opinion, this is what this guy relies on, his pop. And, he was patient. You could make the argument that he was patient and waiting for his opportunity, which he finally got and stopped Gerald Washington. But Gerald Washington is no top fighter. Listen, Deontay Wilder got the win. He improved to 38 wins, no losses, with 37 of his wins coming by knockout. But I have to, and no discredit to Deontay Wilder, but, he won that fight. He's certainly not the best heavyweight in the world. I can't see him beating Anthony Joshua. I can't see him beating Luis Ortiz. And I certainly couldn't see him beating Vladimir Klitschko, whether Klitschko wins, loses, or draws against Anthony Joshua. Joining me right now, my partner in crime, Sal Rocky Senecola. What was your thoughts on the fight, Sal?
Billy, just like you said, man, let me tell you, Deontay Wilder, I saw him in the early rounds. He was exposed as almost ordinary or average, and I thought Washington had his formula. He hit him with jabs, he hit him with body shots, he hit him with right hand. At times I thought he hurt temporarily Deontay Wilder, but I cannot deny the fact that Deontay Wilder came up with a big shot in that last round, and it was effective, and he did everything he had to do, and he put Washington away. Up to then, I thought Washington was going to have his chance in his big day. Here's a fighter, he's 18-0, and he took the opportunity for all he could, and you know what? Just fell short of winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, no doubt, and it just goes to show you why everybody loves the heavyweight division, Sal. One punch changes the outcome of a fight, and that's exactly what happened tonight. Deontay Wilder crushed Washington with a right hand. He did get up. Michael Griffin did count. He got up, and then there was a barrage. Then there was a barrage of punches that Deontay Wilder unleashed, and it looked like Griffin was going to stop the fight. He actually got pushed out of the way from trying to stop the fight. Then he let them continue, and Wilder landed several other unanswered shots that finally caused the referee to jump in and stop the fight. And I agree with the stoppage. Big win for Deontay. I know he's talking all kinds of smack, and all I could say is this, Sal. I honestly don't. No, we knew that. I honestly just don't think he's got a chance against the top three heavyweights out there right now. In my opinion, Klitschko, Anthony Joshua, or Luis Ortiz. Do you think, real quick, and then I'll get to some of the other fights and we'll open up the phone lines, but do you think that the injury had anything to do with the way he was kind of fighting tentative, or do you think he was just a little confused that a big guy like Washington was actually the aggressor against him, and he actually had no answer for the jab?
Billy, let me tell you, pal, you hit on it. You know what? Before you enter the ring of battle, you're exposing and you're trying everything you can with sparring and stuff. So he was sure. If he came into the ring tonight, no, he was not going to be caught off guard with an injured hand, re-injured, or anything else. He came in there. He was caught off guard. I mean, Washington caught him flush with some big jabs, caught him with some big shots, And like I said, I had Washington leading all the rounds, 10-9, until that big shot that turned it around. And that's what the heavyweights do, or any big puncher can do. And that's why the sport of boxing is phenomenal, because it's never over till it's over, and it could be turned around by one big shot. And that's what we saw tonight. But Deontay Wilder, I think, was exposed a little bit, Bill. And you know what? Could Deontay Wilder beat George Foreman? No. Could Deontay Wilder beat Joe Frazier in his prime? No. Could he beat Ali? No. He can't. Is he the best of the bad? Well, he's the best of the bad that he's faced thus far, yes. Can he beat Anthony Joshua? I doubt it very much. Klitschko? I doubt it very much. Ortiz, I doubt it very much. But the bottom line is he's beat everybody that he's faced, so I give him credit for that. That's it.
That's a great way of putting it. He did beat everybody he's faced so far. Fortunately for him, he does not have to fight Frazier, Foreman, or Ali. And all he's got to do is fight the cupcakes that they give him. And you know the old saying, a win is a win, and he got one tonight. We're going to open up the phone lines here in a sec. I just want to point out a couple of things. You know, Fox did the broadcast, and here we are, Fox Network, a big network that's very experienced in doing sports. And man, what is it? It was a piss poor broadcast. Virgil Hunter, I don't think he's a great trainer, and he's certainly not a good analyst. And it was funny. I don't know if you caught this. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. But when they first came on the air, and they were introducing everybody. Next to Virgil Hunter, they had Triple G's trainer. I think what they meant to put in there is that he was training Daniel Jacobs for the Triple G fight, but they got it all messed up. But anyway, in the first fight, it's scheduled for 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. In case you missed it, Dominic Breazeale
I saw it, Val.
He improved to 18-1 when he came from behind, clearly from behind.
I saw the fight, and let me tell you,
and stopped
unbelievable fight.
And stopped Huguenot at 50 seconds in the fifth round. The referee waved that one off. We got callers calling in already. Just hang tight. We're going to open up the phone lines here in a second, and just let's keep one thing in mind. We're going to take one caller at a time. So if someone's on the line, wait until they get off before you call, because we're not going to take calls. In the title fight for the vacant IBF World Junior Middleweight title between Tony Harrison and Jarrett Hurd, Jarrett Hurd stops Tony Harrison at 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the ninth round to pick up that title. So that's what happened before the Deontay Wilder fight. Deontay Wilder, in case you missed it, stopped Gerald Washington in the fifth round after pretty much, in my opinion, he was losing the fight. I had given the first 3 rounds to Gerald Washington. I did give the fourth round to Deontay Wilder. I thought he did enough to win that, but the fifth round was the end of the fight. So end of story there. Let's open up the phone line, Sal. What do you think?
I think we should do that, and let's open up the phone lines and have a good show, pal.
All right, 845-228-8710, 845-228-8710. Give us a call. Let us know what you thought of the fight. As far as the first heavyweight fight, Sal, Dominic Breazeale, I think that kind of showed. What I was looking at that fight was the fact that the bigger guy held on and won. I mean, he outweighed his opponent by 33 pounds, Dominic Breazeale did, and he was the heaviest of his career. But I kind of think
he looked heavy.
But I think the weight kind of served him because it kept him in there. I don't know. I mean, he took some shots, right?
He took some big shots. Let me tell you something. I liked his opponent, Bonnie, and he was doing a hell of a job. And I thought it was going to be an upset. But we've seen Breazeale hurt at times.
Yeah.
And Breazeale, like this night, he's picked himself up. He's come back from behind. He's caught his second win, and he's regrouped himself, and he's dominated with some big, heavy blows. And that's exactly what he did to Yubani, whatever. I'm sorry for my correction, my pronunciation of his name, but let me tell you something. Yeah, it was a great fight. It was a war, a little ebb and flow. And I thought Breazeale was going to be stopped several times. But like I said, he's got a hell of a recuperative power.
Well, he did get up off the canvas. We got somebody on the line right now. Is this you, Joel?
It is. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's going on? What was your thoughts on the fight?
I just heard Sal talk about Ngannou. Totally agree. I told Dax on Twitter that he should not, he should hold his head high. He did get stopped. I think he was alert when he got knocked through the ropes. I think he definitely can improve, and he shouldn't take this loss as a negative thing. About the main event, Wilder looked confused those first 4 rounds. Like you always say, Billy, smacking his chest, punching his chest, answered that knockdown. I was hoping when he was talking to the crowd that Washington was going to get up and knock him out for, being so cocky. He doesn't seem, it seems like Al Heyman, as we said, is trying to work with other promoters like we have Triple G and Jacobs, but I feel like he's going to coddle Wilder, and I don't know if he's really wants Joseph Parker or Anthony Joshua, or even if Vladimir Klitschko at 40. I don't know. What do you think? What's next for him? Another inside fight from against another Al Heyman guy? I mean, what's next for him?
I think he's going to go for the winner of the Joseph Parker-Hughie Fury fight. Either one of those two fighters are about at the same level as Gerald Washington's at. Then he'll pound his chest and say he's the unified champion. I see Dax in the chat room. I'm sure he'll call in a little bit, saying that some social media is saying people, that Deontay's saying that he would fight bigger and better names, but they avoid them and take PEDs. It still all follows what we say. I think all the people around him know that he's what he is, and he really thinks he's the best. Listen, it is what it is. A win's a win. He looked a little exposed today. I was sure. I always thought that Wilder would have trouble with the big names, and now after watching tonight's fight, I'm 100% sure. So,
I just want to say that up until that knockout, I was gonna. If it was going to be a lethargic 12-round fight, I was going to call in and tell you, maybe he forgot, that he had a fight tonight because he won in the courtroom against Povetkin. So he figured, hey, I won that fight. Maybe he forgot that he had a real fight because he made his money that day in court. So maybe he said, I don't need to come and fight. I made my purse in court. Oh, wait, I have a fight. And then he, came alive in the 5th round and stopped him.
Hey,
I don't know.
For all I know, that could have been his game plan the whole time, try to tire Washington out and get him in the later rounds. But, Joel, I appreciate the call, and we'll look forward to you during the
regular
regular
show. Have a great weekend. I'll keep listening and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
All right,
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Appreciate the call from Joel. And by the way, if you're just tuning in, stumbling across the show, we do a daily talk show, Sal and myself. You can check it out on Fight TV, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/talkinboxing, TALKINBOXING, or right on the website, www.billycboxing.com. I don't know what to think aside from what I've already said, Sal. By the way, the phone line is open, 845-228-8710. Deontay Wilder won the fight. A win's a win, but he didn't look too great, in my opinion, unless he was saving, unless that was his game plan. Tire Washington out. I mean, what can you say? Listen, how do you criticize? I mean, here I am criticizing Deontay Wilder, and he won, but I'm not meaning it like that. The reason why I'm being critical is because he doesn't display things that I think you need to be a champion.
No, and I agree with you. The bottom line is, he fought, he came back, and he did. I had Washington ahead. I mean, the first 3 rounds, he did a great job. I gave him 10-9.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Listen, we got another caller on the line. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Billy. This is Joe from Indiana. How you guys doing?
Hey, Joe from Indiana.
Hey,
how you doing?
Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Oh, good, man. Just want to talk some boxing, man.
What'd you think of the
Let's
fight?
do it. Thank you.
What'd you think of the fight, brother?
I'm glad. My thing going into this fight was I didn't want Wilder to come away with an injury, and I saw the way Washington was pressuring him that he was starting to throw the wild punches, and I was like, oh man, here we go again. He's gonna break that hand again. But it just pointed something out to me, Bill and Sal. When Wilder faces a guy that's almost as tall as him, and almost as big as him, he's going to have some problems. Like I thought Washington was fighting a good fight, and he just got caught.
You know,
he was.
Joe,
Great
you make a great point, because I'll tell you what, Vladimir Klitschko had the same problem. Vladimir Klitschko and his brother Vitaly both developed and became proficient in fighting smaller guys. If you went back and looked at the way they delivered punches throughout their career, towards the second half and current, they were able to punch down at their opponents, something that Deontay Wilder has been able to do as well. So finally stepping in the ring where he's eye to eye with a guy, you saw that it gave him some trouble. And I still think he's going to have trouble with the top three guys I was talking about before. Do you think that he was exposed in any way, shape, or form, or do you think this is just the way Deontay is?
I think that's the way he fights, but man, when we talk about putting him against the Klitschko, the Joshua, maybe Parker, and for sure Ortiz, because they're more skilled boxers, he can't be throwing these careless like wild punches. Like he was getting a little wild in there. But I mean, he still came away with the knockout. So I got to give him credit for that. But can I?
You and me both, and you're right, Joe.
Yeah.
Can I touch on something though, real quick, Billy? I know you got a long. I know Dax is trying to get on. The fighter that stood out to me was Hurd, and I want to ask Sal this because I know he was a fighter. I think Hurd, he listened to his trainer and just followed the game plan, because Harrison was winning and he was doing well, but Hurd didn't overreact, and he kept poised in that ring. He stayed patient, and when his opportunity came about, he took advantage of that opportunity. And I think that goes to just listening to the coach and the game plan, because Harrison was fighting good, but I think he gassed out, and when the time was there, and then boom, he hit him right on the button. So Sal, did that ever happen to you in the ring, where you just, at first you may be getting wore out first 2 rounds, you just stayed patient, and then you found your spot, and then boom, you just landed and won the fight?
Well, you just said now, and I could tell you're well versed in the sport of boxing in a sense, and you can see some things. And I appreciate your comments here, because I'll tell you, any fighter that goes in that ring, you've got to feel that you are the winner. You cannot go in and feeling you're going to be the underdog, you're going to be the loser. You've got to feel, like I was telling Billy last week, and we were talking about the show about the Washington Wilder fight. I said Washington's got to enter that ring like he's the champ, and he's going to be the better man that night. And I thought the first 3 rounds he did just that. And the same thing with Hurd. He went in there. He wasn't intimidated. I think he stood his ground. I think he went in there like he was favored to win, and I think he fought a hell of a fight. And Harrison, just came up short with the big shots. And no, exactly what I said as far as my experience too. I always went in there with the idea that I knew that I was the best fighter in that night, and that I entered the ring and I was going to win, and I was going to expose somebody, and I was going to capitalize on some deficit he may do, and at some level, and you enter with the confidence. When you're you're a fighter and you enter the ring of battle, you've got to be confident that you are in there. You can't be intimidated. Can't be thinking second guessing. You've got to be there, sure, cock strong, that you're going to make sure that you're going to win that fight. Whether you come up short and you get surprised and you get knocked out, or you get a loss, hey, that's the end result. But when you fight and you're in there, you got to fight like you're the champ, like you're in there to win. And that's how you got to do it. If you fight scared, if you're scared to win or scared to lose, you're going to be scared to win. You got to fight like you're going to win.
Hey, Joey, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. One thing I'll add to that is, based on your question, I think that the fighters that listen to their corner always have the edge, because the corner sees things that the fighter does not. Even though the fighter's in there toe-to-toe in battle, the corner and the fact that the fighter has trust in their corner is always the result. The end result is always a winning team, and I think what I saw with the Jarrett Hurd fight was a guy that was losing, just like you said, Joey. He was losing the fight. Harrison was the busier fighter, landing the punches, but he seemed very patient for a young fighter. I'm talking about Jarrett Hurd, and like you said, when he got the opportunity, he was able to stop Harrison, and I agree with the stoppage on that fight as well. So.
Okay,
it's good. And Joe, I want to thank you guys.
We appreciate it,
I want to thank you again. And Joe and Bill, thanks for getting me back on track with that. You're right. When you're a fighter, you have to have confidence in your team. And when you listen to your corner, they see things that maybe you don't see when you're out there in the field of battle. And when they tell you in that minute rest that you get, hey, this is what's happening, here's what you got to do. If you have the confidence in your trainer, which you have to have, you're going to try to implement what he suggests, and you're going to do what you got to do, and you should come out ahead, and that's very important. So,
phone line
great question, great call.
Phone line is open, 845-228-8710. We got a lot of people trying to call in. One at a time, please. We'll get some quick comments, and we'll try to keep moving on. The bottom line, I think the biggest hole that I see in Deontay Wilder right now, considering that he got the win, was defense. He needs to tighten up his defense. Dax is with us now. What's up, Dax? What'd you think of the fight?
Dax, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? It was what we've seen there is just a glimpse into what's going to happen. What we've seen there is just, something. Deontay Wilder, when he is no longer able to fight the guys that they're choosing out for him, he's going to lose that belt. And that is why Al Heyman is favoring him, because the heavyweights right now is the division you can make the most money in. And you know what? Let's make the most money while we can, while this division is hot. Because as the old expression goes, we have to kind of strike while the iron's hot, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, they're definitely pounding their chest, saying they're the best, just like we said, right?
Yeah, well, it's great that he scored the knockout. There's going to be people who say about the injury. They're going to use all kinds of excuses. He was patient. He was trying to feel his guy out. That's not what happened. We've seen this before. We've seen it with Eric Molina. When you're a guy that's that big and you're pushed backwards willingly, you allow yourself to get pushed backwards like that by your opponents, eventually what's going to happen is it's not going to work out well for you. I'm sorry?
No, I didn't. You all of a sudden you stopped talking. But
I got feedback off my phone. An example of what happens is when you see what happened with Thomas Hearns and Ray Leonard. You have the puncher who can box, and then you have the boxer who can punch. But what happens is when the puncher is forced to become the boxer, by time that is forced, and I stress the word forced upon them in the fight, they've already taken damage, and they can't come back because now once that boxer who can punch is in there and he's letting his hands go and he's coming after you, it's already done. It's already been laid out. It's just a matter of time, and that's what's going to happen with Deontay Wilder. And I also found it a little bit odd that, something, he chose Joseph Parker, and, the name Anthony Joshua just did not come out of his mouth when he usually has in the past. That was the first name. Maybe Deontay Wilder is kind of knowing to himself, you know what, sometimes don't ask for what you really don't want, and I really don't want that because I know what's going to happen if I get that.
Well,
Dax,
of course he's going to go after the
Wilder,
he's going to go after the slowest.
Joshua, it will not go 5 rounds.
He's not going to. He chooses the easier opponent, and obviously Joseph Parker's that guy. Dax, I wanted to get your thoughts on his lack of defense, and I don't think Deontay was hurt at all, but he certainly took some shots, easy shots. If Washington let his hands go more than the jab, yes, the jab was getting in, which is an indicator. One of the first things you try to defend against as a fighter is the jab, because everybody tries to use the jab to set up punches. He seemed to not have an answer for the jab. Now, you think he was just biding his time? I mean, obviously that's going to be, what they say their game plan was. They wanted to take their time. They wanted to pick their shots. They wanted to tire him out. I saw a fighter that didn't have an answer and relied on his punching power, and it came through. What did you see?
When you're that big and you have that long of a wingspan, you should not be getting caught by a jab at all. Nobody should be getting inside on you. Deontay Wilder is a strong puncher, but he's not a physically strong fighter. And by that I mean, on the inside, Deontay Wilder isn't going to muscle anybody around. That's been proven. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that he is so tall and his frame is so slender that he just cannot get that type of that type of balance, the gravity is just not his friend when you're in that close against a shorter guy. Mike Tyson
that's
would be
very
an
insightful
example.
of you. Very.
Because, somebody like a Mike Tyson, so low to the ground can push you around. That's not Deontay Wilder's fault. That's why he has to take advantage of the outside. You mentioned Vladimir and Vitaly before. Vitaly Klitschko, outside of Lennox Lewis, was the most complete big man because Vitaly Klitschko, if you look at his early career, up until about his 30th fight, he was blowing guys out, and then he realized, you know what, I'm not going to be able to blow every guy out of there, and so you know what I got to do is I'm going to have to change my style around, and Vitaly became more of a volume puncher. And in the end, what ended up happening, Vitaly Klitschko actually became a more devastating fighter with that because he would just beat guys up over 9, 10, 11, and 12 rounds. Most of those stoppages in the second half of his career were TKOs, where guys had to be saved by the referee. Deontay Wilder, as you stated before, Billy, he depends on that one big punch. And, when the guys don't go away, what happens? Gosh forbid he should get a Ruslan Provokanov type inside that division. What are you going to do then, Deontay? He's a good guy. I like him. He's good for the sport, but, he has a lot to work on.
I'm curious to see how he would do against Kubrat Pulev because Pulev
yes,
can
I was thinking of that, yes.
Yeah, you know why? Because Pulev can take a punch. He's not fast, and he does deliver a hard punch, too. I'd like to see how he fares against him. Real quick, and I'm going to try and take some other callers. Huguenot didn't do that great. He did great against Brazil until Brazil stopped him. I just, when I saw that fight, I saw Huguenot. I saw a lot of potential. I saw a kid that, like you were talking about the other day on the show, I'd like to see more of him. But then I couldn't help to notice the size difference. Even though Huguenot was a big guy to begin with, he was in there with what is the modern heavyweight champion pro, the way their bodies are and stuff like that. I think that would be a continued problem for Huguenot against those bigger guys. What's your thoughts?
Huguenot, he's a fantastic boxer. He showed that, and he has better than average power. What his mistake is, due to his kickboxing background and the lack of experience as a professional boxer, there's a different styles. Even though you use your hands in a boxing, the modern boxing, what the technical boxing style would be, while you're kickboxing, but you have to alternate. There has to be a certain amount of kicks, so you don't always keep your hands up that high because you step back and you set yourself up for throwing those kicks, and that's what happened every time Huguenot dropped those hands. Brazil was able to land, and Dominic Brazil is not a big puncher, contrary to popular belief. Dominic Brazil is a big guy. He gets that weight behind there, and when you get 240, 50, 60 pounds behind you, that's what's going to hurt people. Anytime that Huguenot let his hands go, Dominic Brazil was hurt. Dominic Brazil was also given a little bit of help by the referee, not being called on that knockdown. He was allowed to hug as if Huguenot was a lost brother. So Dominic Brazil, he's going to be a guy who will continue to get work at a B level. Sooner or later, probably next 5, 6, 7 fights, if he's not protected, he's going to go down to the C level. He's going to be a journeyman, and then they're going to call it a day when nobody's going to pay attention to him anymore. So, that's pretty much my look at it in there. And as for Jarrett Hurd, he's not that special either. He's a tough kid. He has a lot of growing to do. Tony Harrison, that's a kid right there who, I think he understands his punch isn't as big as what it used to be. He's in against a higher level of competition. He was doing great when boxing. He had a little bit too much bravado. I don't know why he was waving Hurd in there. But Jarrett Hurd, I don't see him beating Demetrius Andrade, Erison Lara. I definitely don't see him beating Canelo. And I don't even know if he beats Erickson Lubin if you were given a one-sided boxing lesson like that for as long as he was. And the whole thing, we're comparing him to Andre Ward and Virgil Hunter. He did just like Andre when Andre fought Kovalev. He had to come from behind and show what a fighter is. So I'm guessing that by Monday, Jarrett Hurd is going to announce that he's contemplating retirement.
Yeah, just like Ward. I guess that's what Virgil Hunter does with them. But Dax, great insight, and we'll look forward to you during the show during the week, my man.
All right, absolutely, and enjoy the rest of the night. And there's still more fights on, so make sure after the post-fight show, everybody catches them.
Sounds good, my man. We'll talk to you later. Phone line is open, 845-228-8710. We got discussion going on about the Deontay Wilder win. Let me know what you think of the fight. I saw, a win is a win, but I saw some holes in the game. on Deontay Wilder. I think that he needs to tighten up his defense. I don't know if that was Plan A, and he had to try to make a change and go to Plan B. And Plan B started in the 5th round. I don't know. But what we did see was a win is a win. So the phone line is open. And we got you back, Sal. We're talking about, I don't know, you got some noise in the background there. Okay, much better. So, I mean, where does Wilder go from here, in your opinion? Are you there, Sal?
I'm here. And you know what? Wilder, like I said, Bill, was he exposed tonight? I think he was on a large level. He's still the best of the bad of who he's faced thus far. And where does he go? And until he faces an Anthony Joshua, a Klitschko, or somebody that's really going to answer his arsenal, I think he's going to continue on a reign. He can beat up and fight these guys. Washington exposed him to a degree, and unfortunately, he just was not able to capitalize on it. I think with the record of 18-0, I think Washington, or whatever his record may have been, I think it was only about 18 fights under 20. I think he definitely needs to learn and experience this loss, but he's got to come back, and I definitely think he can. And but again, Deontay Wilder did win. I thought he lost the first 3 rounds, and he was exposed. So let's see what happens. I think Deontay Wilder's got to fight a big name, like an Anthony Joshua or Klitschko, and I think he's going to have a world of trouble when he does.
My big hang-up is with fighters that pound their chest and say they're the best when they don't fight the best in the division. They only get to say that when they fight the best of the best. He certainly hasn't done that, but what he has done is he's keeps on winning, and he keeps on winning by knockout, and that's what his whole career is built on. So anyway, hey, some news real quick. Thanks to some of the guys in the chat room, it's made official. Manny Pacquiao will be fighting April 23rd against Amir Khan, not against Jeff Horn. And you know what? I like that fight way better than the Jeff Horn fight. Like we talked about during the show. Obviously I want to see him fight Mayweather, but Mayweather is really shooting for the Conor McGregor fight. I'm going to be writing an article about that. It makes me sick, and that's some topics that Sal and I will be talking about during our show next week. We'll be talking about the Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan fight, and we're going to be talking about Floyd Mayweather's comments during the fights last night, Friday night on Showtime, how he feels that the only fight for him is against Conor McGregor. To me, it's a fraud. It's Floyd Mayweather taking advantage of a situation. Now, if they were willing to fight that fight as an exhibition, I applaud it, and I say go for it.
Me too.
But if the fight goes and counts as a real fight and goes to Floyd's win, to me that's not fair. How do you put a 49-0 guy against a pro debut boxer? I don't care how successful he was in MMA. Look for my column on that. I'm going to be writing an article in my column, I should say. So check out BillyCBoxing.com. And don't forget to tune into our show on Monday. Hey, Sal, any final thoughts on the Wilder victory tonight over Gerald Washington?
No, I think, I think he was lucky enough to come up with the big shots when he had to deliver. And that's why, Bill, I can't take anything away from him. I mean, like I said, he's fought the best of the bad on his level. And he's continually has had the opportunity to defeat his opponents, and a lot of times he's coming up with those big KOs. And so he's not just an average fighter. I think that when he does fight a top world class fighter, he's going to have a different situation at hand, and he's going to have to really prove himself at that time. But until now, Deontay Wilder, like I said, is the best of the bad that he's faced. And I don't know if that's the right terminology or best way to put it, but, I do give him his credit where his credit is due. He comes up with a big punch. He came from behind, in my opinion, and he delivered what he was supposed to do as a world champion on his level.
Yep. Well,
That's it.
a win's a win. I feel that he made the fight an exclamation point for the fight. I mean, there's no,
Yep.
he won easy, or he didn't win, or he got robbed, or the other guy got robbed, or whatever.
No.
He knocked it out. There was no judging needed. It was a right call. Nobody can argue that Washington shouldn't have been counted out. It was waved off. It was right. My thought is a win is a win is a win. But I also saw a fighter that would, in my opinion, have some extreme trouble with the big guys, starting with Kubrat Pulev. I don't think he beats him. I don't think he beats Klitschko. I don't think he beats Anthony Joshua. And I certainly don't think that he would beat Luis Ortiz as well. But if you take all those names out of the mix, I think Deontay Wilder beats all the other heavyweights. So what does that tell us? Does that tell us that Deontay Wilder? Well, does it tell us that Deontay Wilder is, the fifth or sixth best heavyweight in the world, or our heavyweight pickings are pretty slim? I don't know. But the bottom line is Deontay Wilder got his win tonight, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. We told you it was going to be short and sweet tonight, but listen, don't forget to tune in to our show on Monday morning. We'll be talking more about this fight and whatever other developments come in between now and then, as well as the news on Manny Pacquiao. And I got some strong comments and feelings about the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight that Floyd seems to be pushing so hard for. So we'll talk about that on Monday. So, hey, Sal, I appreciate you taking some time. I appreciate everybody who called in and everyone who's watching right now. But make sure you tune in Monday morning. In case you don't know, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check us out on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/talkinboxing, TALKINBOXING, on our BillyCBoxing.com website, or on Fight TV. And if you don't have Fight TV on your handheld, download the app today, fight.tv/BillyC. That's fight, FITE.tv/BillyC. Hey, it was great, Sal. We will talk to everybody on Monday. So I'll say this. Are you going to say goodbye, Sal? What are you going to do? Are you going to say goodbye?
I'm going to say goodbye, and I want to also, Bill, if I can, and hopefully you can shut me up, but I am looking so forward. We have a group of people that are promoting tomorrow. We are making our debut, time slot 4 to 6, on a local Brunswick radio station, WGIG gig 1440, the iHeart Radio, and we're going to be there live, not live, we'll tape a show from the other day, but it's going to be a great show, and they're going to be treated to a great show that you and I have done, and I think it's going to be great. I have a bunch of people listening to that, and we're looking forward to that too. So I'm looking forward to talking to you on Monday. It was a great night of fight. I congratulate the PBC. You know what? They gave us 3 fights tonight, and you know what? They were decent fights.
Decent fights, terrible broadcast. Make sure you tune in Monday. Until then, ciao, baby.
Ciao.